So
this meeting is being recorded.
Just as a reminder, I was just about to start off with a bit of housekeeping, and that the meeting is being recorded. So you can always watch this back if you wish. So let us get started. Okay, Luigi, thank you so much. Okay then, so good afternoon, everybody. My name's Fayon Dixon. Hopefully you'll remember me from your onboarding video. How's it all going? Are you all in touch with your mentors, mentees? Are you making it happen? I do hope so. So welcome. This is the very first community meeting. There are going to be 3 in total. And in this meeting, it is an opportunity for us just to check in. Q&A can be towards the end. We usually have a topic for each one of these meetings, and this one is all about mentoring, as it's the very, very first meeting ever. Can I just ask everybody just Luigi, if you could jump in and help. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right then, so yeah, this is the first of our meetings, and you know, we are at the beginning of this program, and all I can say really is that you just have to make it work for you as much as you can. More about that in a moment, but let's get on with the housekeeping. Let's get that out of the way. So with housekeeping, normal stuff really, asking you to pop yourselves onto mute, which you have done, so that is great. This meeting is being recorded. Luigi, if you could jump onto the next slide for me, thank you so much. And this will be also available after the session, so if you wish to go back over it, you can. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box or raise your hand, and I'll do my very best to scan and look. But please don't unmute and start talking. I'll try and acknowledge you by looking in the chat box. Luigi, help me out if I miss any questions, please. Minimize the use of your Wi-Fi at home. That'll help with your connection. If you do lose your connection for any reason, then just log out, come back in again. If you need any specific help at all, then you can contact Luigi through the one-to-one chat function. So, okay, let's bounce it along, Luigi. Thank you very much. So just a quick reminder, Pathways program then, Mark McBride Wright, founder, chemical engineer, safety engineer, has set up Equal Engineers 5 years ago, got his rainbow stripes 10 years before doing into engineering, and you know, he's created this amazing platform so that you, the mentee and the mentor, can learn from each other, and that you get as much experience from this to build a relationship at the end of the day. For our mentees, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is such an awesome opportunity to come here with lifelong friends. Luigi, thank you so much. With regards to us here at Equal Engineers, we do a whole host of things. We do events, the careers events, where some of you have met us. We have the ETA Awards. I'll be talking about the nominations for that towards the end of the meeting. They happen every year. We have the wonderful Pathways project, which you're on now. We also provide training, and we're going to be also launching a recruitment service in the new year. And we have our conferences as well. So as Equal Engineers, Mark has gone from being on his own.
Have you got the onion mushroom?
I don't know, Jade. So he's gone from being on his own for 5 years with just support in the background to having a whole team of myself and Luigi and also Anne. So moving along, please. So the programme outcomes. It is about the connectivity, isn't it? From a real diverse range of students. Equal Engineers, this is what we're about. We're about looking at you know, every kind of person that might want to be part of this program. And because of our ethos in ED&I, we want to remove any barriers that might be stopping you from moving into a job or a work placement when the time is right for you. So we're doing all the work behind the scenes to help this happen and facilitate it. It's a place, of course, for the students and the professionals from industry to share experiences and learn from each other. Giving mentees the opportunity to learn about being in a formal work experience and environment. I'm sitting in McLaren today. We had, for their mentees, their very first insight session. So we've had a tour, they've met their mentors. It's been pretty awesome. So I've decided to camp out here. There'll be more news about insight sessions for the other partners in a moment. And yeah, we just want to help you, the future engineers, to develop skills for your future careers. Who knows what technology is coming along, you know, years from now, but you're going to be at the forefront. So it's a, you know, it's just going to be an incredible learning platform for everybody involved. Mentors will be able to learn about current engaging or other engineering practices. So, you know, they may have left the learning platform many years ago. So as you are now in a position of learning, please do share with them how your practices are at university, because that's enlightening for them as well. And the mentors, of course, can gain unique insights, as I've said, directly from the future talent. This is an opportunity for you to get off LinkedIn. You don't have, you can, of course, link in with your mentor via LinkedIn and catch up and see what they're up to. But you've had their email address now, you're in touch. So if you have not made the contact yet with your mentor, do it today. Mentees, we encourage you to make this your own. Do not hold back. It doesn't mean you've got to be phoning, you know, every day, but start with a phone call, start with an email, and establish how you want to work together. Is it going to be better for you to meet in person, if that could be a possibility? You never know. Is it better for you to be on the phone? Is it better by Zoom? Is it better by Teams? WhatsApp, Google, whatever it is, find a way of working together, put those appointments in your diaries and get that relationship going, because the mentor-mentor relationship is actually only until April. So before you know it, it will be gone. So get those meetings in. More about that later. Okay, are we ready to roll? I feel so. So in these community meetings, we've got a mix of the mentors and the mentees. And what we want to do is we want to bring in some guest speakers. The topic today is about mentoring, and they're going to be sharing their experiences and just telling you a little bit about themselves. But at the end, there'll be an opportunity for some Q&A. So any questions at all, let's bounce them through. So I'm going to welcome our first guest speaker, who is Alvaro Rojas Zamora, and he is a development engineer at Rolls-Royce. The passion that comes through about automotive is just incredible with Alvaro. He's worked on a multiple amount of projects, ranging from design, simulation to combustion. Is really passionate about aviation and tech and creative thinking. And we met maybe 4 years ago when I was hosting Meet the Future at the Big Bang Fair. So it's just wonderful to have you here, Alvaro. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry, I was unmuting myself. I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to be here. So let's go full screen on Alvaro. Let's have a look at him. So Alvaro, if you could just give a brief introduction of yourself. Thank you.
Yes. So my name's Alvaro. I'm originally from Spain, but I came over to the UK. I finished my studies in north of Wales in a small university called Glyndŵr. And I eventually, from there, thanks to the career centre and everything else, they guided me, and I started the graduate program at Rolls-Royce. I've always loved airplanes since I was little. That's been my passion since I was really, really small. So I knew I always like to tinker with stuff and think, how does this work and everything else. So I sort of joined the two passions early on when I was, I think I might have been finishing primary school, whatever. I wanted to be a pilot, but I decided I liked tinkering with things and figuring how they work. So aeronautical engineer seemed the thing to do. So I joined Rolls-Royce in 2016 as a graduate engineer. So I've done anything from, the graduate scheme sort of shows you different places that you can go within the company. So I did a lot of connections. I even did connections with the other speakers while we were waiting for you to come along here. So that was sort of what I do, sort of talk to different people. And I've done simulation, I've done combustion, and what I work now is a development engineer. A development engineer, basically, we take the engine that's already being designed and made, and we basically get a massive Lego set in which to play with and basically try to break it, right? So we do all the tests that would need to be done on the engine before it's considered safe and certified to be able to fly. So we do bird ingestion testing, rain and hail testing. We do flight tests. We do relight, like shutting the engine off in flight, turning it back on, running it with high heat of the oil, just slamming the brakes and slamming it back off again. So all kinds of testing. So it's basically a really, really expensive toy to play with. So I love what I do. I love going down to the test beds and seeing what's done, how to build it. And regarding the mentorship thing, I wasn't lucky enough to have a mentor when I was studying, and basically was thanks to to my mom and to my family that we sort of did our own research on what pathways we could do and everything else. So the reason I do these STEM events and everything else is because I sort of want to help out those who might not have been as lucky as me, to show them exactly, look, I did this is what I do, and now I do more sort of mentorship as well, for colleagues of mine or other people as well. But also when you enter Rolls-Royce, you get a mentor as well, and I got a mentor myself, but then I realized that the mentor that clicked more with me was actually my first manager, because in personality wise, so I've actually gone recently, I think in the past 2-3 weeks, I've gone back to him and say look, I probably want some career advice, because I need to know what to do. I'm not sure what to do. Coincidentally, he was also saying I'm actually changing careers now as well. So it's a really good thing to sort of go back and forth with someone to see, I'm thinking in the same way that you'd contact a friend to ask them I'm having trouble with my family, my friends, or whatever, and you chat with them. A mentor is kind of the same thing, but it's a friend for careers thing. So you chat about that and think what do you, in your experience, what do you think that it'd be good to do? That's the overview of what I do and how I've got involved with this.
Fantastic. Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, then now we are going to get an introduction from our second speaker. Now, our second speaker is Balji Mia, and she is a professional IT architect. Now then, with this comes, she's worked with everybody from Logica to BAE Systems, spearheading projects and client engagement, collaborating and being the guider and solutions in architecture. And we met on an all-women's panel, which I was hosting earlier on this year. Balji, thank you so much for being part of today. I'm really glad that you are here. It'd be lovely just to hear a little bit about you.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold today, so excuse me. But yeah, thanks, Fayon, for the introduction. I wasn't aware that I was joining a group with over 100 people, but that's okay. Take it in my stride. So yes, I suppose I started my career quite a number of years ago. We won't go into how many exactly, but I studied physics and at university, and I then did a particle physics PhD which I've completely forgotten everything about, by the way. But when I was then looking to see what to do in my career, I really wanted to maintain some kind of connection with the science side of things. So I had 2 job offers in my hand. I think one was working in Abingdon on with an F1 team, actually. And then the other one was joining Logica in London, who had a space and defence division. And in the end, I think, for me, the location and the kinds of projects that Logica did was the deciding factor. So my first project was basically developing software for to onboard software to control satellites, communication satellites in space. So I imagined I could look up at the sky and see that there was something up there that was, in part powered by what I'd written. And also some of the bugs I'd uncovered, I must say. So I kind of I meandered in my career, I would say, from development to leading teams to then taking more of sort of design responsibilities, and I guess I became an architect. But I'm also, from those early projects, I'm also now much more interested in the business landscape and how to actually create a sort of product and go to market and that kind of thing. Taking a bit of career break at the moment. I'm actually working on stuff to do with Ukrainian refugee support, which was obviously a bit unexpected for everybody. So I've sort of been developing my own website on that and doing lots of actual face-to-face meetings. But I am looking to get back into the world of work, and I am actually later on today going to be talking to somebody who I want to explore becoming maybe a mentor for me, because it's in a completely different area to where I have my knowledge. So I kind of want to pick her brains and see if she can, give me some insights, because I haven't got the kind of experience that she has in her field. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Thank you. And that's what it's all about, that kind of like picking people's brains and just, reaching out to somebody that you've met. Networking is so incredibly important. I'm going to talk a little bit more about networking in a bit. Let's now welcome our third guest speaker. It is Hemel Dias, and Hemel is a project researcher, currently working for an organization in Tokyo, very passionate design engineer, and graduated from the University of Warwick. I come from that end of the earth, so I'm very proud about that. But he combines his very strong technical background with a human-centered approach to design skills. He's an entrepreneur and has an award-winning product called Stable Spoon, which I'm sure he'll tell you about. And I know Hemel because I interviewed him a couple of times in the pandemic when we couldn't have our Equal Engineers Talent Awards. So we interviewed all the nominees, and that's how I know Hemel. So konnichiwa, Hemel. Thank you so much for joining us. Remind us all what the time is for you in Japan.
The time is 11:30 p.m. But that's all right. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So a little bit about myself. It's funny, I met Fayon online during the pandemic, and we're still online, but it works out nicer now because I'm so far away from home. But yeah, as Fayon mentioned, I studied mechanical engineering at the University of Warwick. During my time there, I invented something called Stable Spoon, which is a affordable balancing spoon for people with hand tremors, so diseases like Parkinson's and things like that. So turned that into a business. Had a lot of fun with that. It's still an ongoing project, but I was really inspired by that and like the power design has. So I decided to pursue a master's degree at the Royal College of Art, looking at design. And then following that, I one day got an email saying, "Do you want to come to Japan?" And that sounded good, so I said yes. So currently I'm working at the University of Tokyo, as a project researcher, looking at the future of mobility in Japan. So we're looking at 2030, when hopefully 6G networking comes about. How will that affect transport and mobility within Japan? But yeah, that's a really quick intro about me.
Awesome. Absolutely fantastic. And so it's great to have you three here. So let's get this discussion going around mentoring then. So each of you has been a mentor in some way, capacity. Have you ever been menteed? And if so, what are the benefits of being on that end of it, being actual on the mentee side?
I was going to raise the hand, but as both of the other two are on mute, I'm guessing I'm going to be first. So I think the advantage is that when you're a mentee, the mentor has a view, like a more top level view, or perhaps a more experienced view, a different view of what you have. So for example, if you put, like, when I started working at Rolls-Royce, I just knew one little bit of it. And when you're working in such a big company, you have no idea what kind of jobs there exist, what kind of opportunities, what kind of career paths you could take, because you don't even know they exist. Whereas asking a mentor that has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge around that, etc., they'll be able to say, like, actually, what are your interests? They'll ask you questions, and they'll maybe be able to guide you. Oh, do you know this exists and this exists? And that's just within the company. If you get like a mentor that is outside of the company of your interest, they might know different areas and different sectors. Oh, did you even know this existed? So I think that's the advantage. They can give you a more bird's eye view than what you can see, perhaps just starting or where you're at the current moment. Sorry.
Do you think there's an importance almost sometimes to not have a mentor who is even related strongly to what you want to do?
Yes, with a caveat. So for example, my mentor when I studied, he was very much into simulations and very much into theoretical quantum computing and everything else, which is true. Well, I know it's very interesting, but it didn't completely match with any of the career path that I wanted to take, because I knew that wasn't. So I switched mentors in that case to get another view. But the mentors that I've gotten, like for example, that are in the automotive industry, like Rolls-Royce has nothing to do with automotive, by having someone in the automotive industry, I can sort of see, and they can say, oh yeah, I get currently like offers for this or this other thing, or this could be transferable. So it's good to have almost both things. You can have multiple mentors, it doesn't stop you having just one. So you could you can pick and choose what you want. So having one in the same area will give you a localized view around you. And also they might have experience outside, right? If they're, if there's someone who is, for example, a senior manager or whatever, they might be in that area, but they might have moved from something else and come from this background. So it helps if it's varied as well, but it doesn't need to be. You can just pick and choose.
Yeah. I mean, opening up to Baljeet and Hamal, I personally, I am a networker. I think it's powerful to be able to just talk to people. There doesn't even have to be an end goal, because you just don't know who you're talking to. So can you give any experiences or enlightenment around that sort of concept of finding your way through life with your sort of open-hearted, I'm just going to network and talk to people, and then found yourself mentored or menteed along the way?
I think the sort of networking aspect is quite key. I mean, I'm not a natural networker, I must say. So for me, it's something that I have to sort of consciously do. I would say as well that when I started off, there wasn't really the concept of a formal mentor around. There would never have been any such programs. But if I think back, I can recognize people that mentored me. So they had much more experience about software architecture practices or software design practices. And for me, that was an eye-opener, that there were sort of these patterns and ways of doing things, because a lot of your training is on the job with IT. So having people that can actually direct you to things that are effective and useful and considered industry standard is quite valuable. It's not something that you will always come across, people who are willing to put that effort into teaching you sort of best practices as conducted by industry. So I would say that, that person I'm thinking of was probably my first mentor. And, who's really put into me the kind of principles about doing things right and doing them with, mind on quality, and to know that there are, as I said, recognized standards, and also knowledgeable figures out there on the internet. So for example, Martin Fowler, he's introduced me to that person. So there are gurus out there as well. So a mentor can also guide you to other sources that they take inspiration from. So you can sort of piggyback on that. So yeah, and I would say probably I've mentored people as well, but informally, not through necessarily a formal program, by passing on, where I can see that actually they might need a bit of input, or they're approaching this in maybe a bit of a sort of naive fashion. Maybe I could give them a bit of insight and help and guide them into the sort of maybe a better option or a better choice. So well, I wouldn't say there's been a lot of formality around my mentoring and menteeing, being menteed, but it's important to kind of have people that you can talk to, and you can, I don't know, get really valuable insights from throughout your career at the different points that you need it.
Yeah, I think that's some really, really great points that you've touched on there. Having that person in your life who has life experience that, and people that they then can introduce you to is really powerful, because again, when you meet people, you have no idea who they know and what experience they have. So that's why the networking is good. And Hamel, you have been a mentee in your career so far, or in life? Have you had somebody that's been there for you?
Oh, definitely, yeah, every step of the way, really. I think the most memorable one for me is Chloe, who was my supervisor during my undergraduate degree. And actually, she's kind of the person who made my whole invention actually work. It's a funny story. Let me try and recall it. I remember having this really bad prototype I had made, and I was really embarrassed about it. And I brought it into a lecture, and it was just on the table. I didn't even talk about it, but she spotted it and thought it was cool, and she emailed me later saying, that's cool. Let's chat about it. And I can't believe how kind of far it's gone since that. So, and I think that really sums up one of the best things about the mentor. They can be very good at spotting potential, and if they see that you're willing to put in the effort, then they're also willing to put in the effort. And one of my biggest learnings throughout this whole thing is to not be afraid to ask. I've been really positively surprised by how willing people are really to help. And I remember there was a point in my life I was really scared to send emails to people asking stuff. But now I have no shame. If I think you're doing something cool, I will find you on LinkedIn. I will drop you a message, see if we can arrange a chat. And so far, the experiences have been positive. And I try and return the favor as well. I have a few people now who, talk to me maybe once a month, maybe once a year, different frequencies, just to keep me updated about their projects, get my input and things like that.
I mean, again, brilliant insight right there. So, you think something isn't good or whatever, but you've got that person who is looking out for you and encouraging you just to, keep going, keep making that effort. And it's a beautiful and unique relationship. It's not that they're telling you what to do, it's just that they're going, just keep on going. And I just wanted to see if I can get a show of hands from everybody on the call. So hello out there, you're all paying attention. All you have to do is raise your hand or keep your hand down. Have you ever been given the opportunity to meet someone or get experience from someone, they've given you their card or their email or something, and you haven't responded. So you haven't responded, even though they gave you their direct details, you didn't do anything with them. Let me see a show of hands. I'm not judging, I'm just interested. Let me see these hands, let me see. Some people are chatting in the background. Okay, all right, okay. So it happens. I'm sure it's happened to me. Because sometimes you don't believe it. You know, somebody gives you, yeah, give me a call, drop me an email. I'll hook you up with such and such. And you just don't do it. What is that about? Is it fear? Is it like you don't believe they really meant it or whatever? Always, if somebody says they want to do something for you, get in contact with them straight away. And then you've done your part. So let me ask now, going back to our wonderful speakers on the call. I mean, is there ever a good time to have a mentor in your life? Is it just when you need it? Should you always have one, or should you always only seek one out at a time that you need it? How does it work? I'm just throwing that out to either three of you.
I'll maybe jump in.
Yes.
I think it's natural to only think about having a mentor when maybe things are a bit hairy. So that's when I probably first, took up a mentorship. It wasn't necessarily with the intention that I'd use it to kind of solve my hairy problem, but I think that's when I felt I needed the support more. And when things are actually kind of going quite well or whatever, I haven't actively sought out anyone to be a mentor. But I wonder if that's actually maybe something that could be changed, and actually you seek out mentors even if things are going very well, because you probably would then be actually in a more positive frame of mind for having conversations and receiving insight. There is a slight danger if you only choose a mentor when things are going badly, that it turns into a kind of moaning session. And one of the key points or things to be aware of is that the mentor-mentee relationship is such that the mentor also needs to feel like they're getting something out of it. If it becomes a real drag for them, or they're not getting anything out of it, then that relationship isn't really going to work. So I guess it's that there are definitely times when I think having a mentor really helps. It doesn't always have to be when things are not going well. Would I have one constantly? Probably not. I'd probably pick and choose at points where I want to make a sort of step change in something.
I would think,
yes, you leant in. I saw you leaning into camera. I thought he's got some
no, I was just waiting. So I think, so that bit that was said regarding that the mentor has to get something out, I think that really what the mentor is getting out is the satisfaction of you either reaching your potential, succeeding, being happy in what you're doing, or that he or she has been able to help you in some way. So as Billy said, if you're just going when things are wrong, it's a moaning session. Therefore, that person's not really getting a satisfaction, because you're not stepping off positively, you're just coming there negatively. However, I think that the other advantage of having a mentor always, and it doesn't need to be, if you have a mentor always, doesn't mean that you're always contacting. Like, for example, this mentor, my first manager, I've known him since 2016. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's a formal relationship, like, oh, we've established that you're my mentor and we'll have meetings. It's like, no, we'll chat, and sometimes I'll reach out to him, say hey, and sometimes I just reach out to him just to say, hey, how are you doing, are you okay? Or to be fair, like sometimes I've even gone to his house just for dinner or something, and has nothing to do with it, but you establish that bit of sort of a friendship relationship, but you don't need to you can keep it more professional. What I mean to say with this is, having a mentor constantly, I think is just like having identified who you think should be a mentor for you, and then you can just contact as you need. And the advantage of having a more frequent contact, if you want that, is you will be pushed to be better more constantly, right? Because if you're someone who just likes to be more static or like stable or like, well, I'm fine where I am, if you don't contact a mentor, you'll probably remain like that for a while until something goes wrong, and then you'll need one. Whereas if you're like that, but you have a mentor and you have chats every 2 months, every month, every 6 months, whatever you want, that person is probably going to ask you like, hey, what do you want to do now? Are you okay? Would you like a change? And, or as, you know, as Mel said, like, you know, said, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do something with that. So your mentor will probably push you to be more, or essentially do something else more with what you're doing. So that could be a way to like boost your career or boost your life or whatever you want in what you're doing, just because of that you have someone there like asking and prodding you, saying like, what are you doing? Come on, you want more? What is it that you like to change? Do you have something else? Otherwise you wouldn't.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I mean, I'm asking all three of you, but I'll lead with Hamel. What do you think are the qualities that you need as a mentee to make that relationship work? What are some of the pointers that you think you should be keeping in mind to make the relationship work well?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the main thing is this idea that the more you put in, the more you get out. I think it's human nature for people to want to find pleasure in helping you. So really, I think push the limits is maybe not the right choice of words. But yeah, don't be shy to ask questions. Just ask so many questions. Yeah.
Yeah, ask questions, get answers.
Yeah, I'd say also putting, you know, if you're going to go for that, ensure, I don't know the way to say it's like you do your homework. So imagine you've got like a chat every month with your mentor, and like, well, and you might say like, hey, would you like to have a think about this? If in the next meeting you haven't really thought about that, or you've just given the thought about 5 minutes before your next meeting, it's not going to be very productive, because then that person isn't really going to be able to help you. So it takes an effort, I'm guessing, but the more you put in, as Hamel said, the more that person is going to be able to help you, and you'll be a better mentee, but also you'll get more out of it as well.
This is a really brilliant point. If you know this is part of your characteristics, that you are somebody that leaves things to the last minute, or you have trouble planning, this is where you ask your mentor to help you. So I struggle to do this. You know, I'm no good at making appointments ahead of time. I'd rather just contact you the day before. That ain't going to work, because our mentors are in full-time employment. They are working, they've taken time out of their working day to be here for you, which is why you need to make sure you lock down these appointments. If you are struggling, they've got years of experience. Ask them how they got round it. You know, I'm struggling with this. What could I do? Just ask. You know, there is no shame or embarrassment. This is how we help you to be not just a better engineer, but a better communicator, you know, and feel confident as well. Is there anything you wanted to add, Baljit?
I think that everyone's made really good points. I think, you know, the point about, you know, taking on board the thought process that your mentor has offered as a solution or something you need to look at, and exploring that is quite important, and taking that forwards. And then, you know, you may go back to the next meeting and go like, well, I tried that, but it didn't really seem to work. And then your mentor has the next problem of thinking, well, what should I suggest next? But I think as well, being, I guess, open-minded to what your mentor might suggest is quite important. So, you know, if you have a very fixed idea of how the relationship is going to go, or the conversations, you're not really giving it the chance to develop into something that's a bit more sort of spontaneous, and where, you know, your mentor conversations may take you somewhere where you didn't really, you know, expect to at the beginning, but actually it's quite good. So, you know, I guess being absorbent and responsive to what they have to say, take on board and process it. And you don't have to do everything that they suggest, but the fact that you've considered it is quite important, I think. And
Brilliant.
you're free to come up with your own sort of counter suggestions as well, but at least they've made you think about what those might be.
Fantastic. That's so brilliant. And you're right, this is a relationship, and it's, we are equal engineers, myself, Luigi, and we have toiled over the applications. We've looked at what the mentee is looking for in a mentor. We've looked at what the mentor is looking for in a mentee. We've looked at the skills. We've looked at all of the different types of diversity, the degrees, everything. And we've spent a while just trying to match everybody as best as we can.
I'm having trouble with the audio.
Oh, who is? Hello, Baldry. Hi, Baldry. If I would say with the audio, maybe log out and come back in again. We are coming towards the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Pop yourself out and come back in again. But remember, we are recording this. If you missed the end of the meeting, watch it back.
Okay.
Yeah, try and log out and come back in. I wouldn't want to lose you if we don't have to. Thank you. Train of thought. Yes. So you might be matched with a mentor now. It's only week 1, and you might be like, yeah, I'm not sure. You've not given it a go yet. You're just at the beginning. Get the email going or get the phone call going, arrange to talk, and give it some time. Like any relationship, things take time to percolate. It's a new relationship. It's something that you're busy with your work as a mentee. You've got lots on. It's very, very busy for you. For the mentor also, lots and lots going on. They might have families, they might work all different kinds of hours, but give it a go. It's week 1. Give it a go, first of all. So, I wonder if there are any questions for our wonderful speakers while we are here. Let me get to my chat box and just see, are there any questions? So I'll just close that down and I can see, bear with me. I don't want to save that. Good, right. If there are no questions, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just a second. Thank you. Right. Okay. Questions. Fantastic. Right. Thank you, Tago, for letting me know that you need to go to your next meeting. That's not a problem. And yeah, I know some of you have got to pop onto other calls, so that's absolutely fine. Now then, there's a question from Seni. What's the best way to establish a relationship to keep with a mentor? So Seni, from what we've said, because that came through about 10 minutes ago, that question, have we answered your question? Seni, if you just drop a message for me, please, in the chat. Let me know if we've answered your question, because I feel we have. It's a two-way street. You've got to put in, all of these wonderful speakers have said, you've got to make the effort. This is how you make this thing work. I would also say, I don't think I've mentioned it yet, it's about respect, respecting each other, respecting each other's time, and respecting that, things take time to work. Okay, let me know if we've answered your question. Also, the other meeting finished early, so I'm back. Oh, good. Good to see you again, Theo. Thank you very much. How often can we meet our mentors? Well, we are saying meet at least once a month. Meet once a month. That's the minimum. But for you, get the conversation going and decide how often you want to meet. Do you want to talk once a week? Do you want to talk every 2 weeks? Do you want to be on WhatsApp? Do you want to be on Google Meet? Do you want to do Teams? Maybe you're in not too far away from each other. Or next year you find out you're both going to be in Derby one day. Then you meet for a coffee. This is your relationship. It's up to you how many times you meet. Personally, again, boundaries. You don't want to be on the phone day in, day out, unless you've established this relationship with your mentor or mentee. I can see Theo laughing, but you know, it's up to you. Get the most out of it. I'd say more communication rather than less. If you decide that you're just going to meet once a month, and you're getting enough out of that, that's fine. But we've given you the diaries. You need to be writing down, what do you want? What do you want by the end? When you look back on this wonderful experience, has it matched your expectations? So start putting out your wishes and your expectations now. Seni, we did answer your question. That's fantastic. Samuel, thank you. Can our mentor guide us towards other people with a better foot in the industry? Excuse me, let me say again. Can our mentor guide us towards other people with a better foot in the industry we're keen about? Well, get talking to them and see what they know. Drill them for information. What do you know? Who else do you know? Get to know them first, because that's polite. They've given up their time. And like we say, it's a networking process. And, you know, Baljeet was saying, there's no reason why you couldn't have more than one mentor in life. But right now, please focus on the person that we have matched you with, because I mean, it's like gold, the opportunity that you have ahead of you. So get that relationship going. That's all of our questions as far as I can see. So I'm going to thank Alvaro, Hamel, Baljeet for being our speakers. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sharing your mentoring journey and your jewels of information. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That's quite all right, no problem. Happy to help.
You. Good luck, guys.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Baljeet. We'll be in touch very soon. You and I've got other things to talk about. Alvaro, thank you for jumping in as quickly as you did. You always, as soon as I ask Alvaro anything, he's like, yep, no problem. So thank you so much. And for Hamel coming in from Japan, I mean, oh, thank you. I mean, I'm just blown away by your commitment to us. Thank you so much.
No worries.
So you're free to go to bed. Sleep well, sleep well. So for everybody else, hang on the call, please. But our lovely, thank you, Baljeet. Our lovely speakers, if you wish to go, you can go. Thank you so much. Thank you. So just now for our mentors and mentees, if you are there, Luigi, I need a slide. If you could bring up a slide for me. It's the one, maybe I didn't create a slide for it, but it doesn't matter. Before this one, actually, but I'll just mention it as it's here. Mentors on the call. The ETA Awards, the nominations are open. You can nominate yourself, you can nominate a member of your team, but if you see these comms flying around your organization, please do. The people that are on our steering committee for Network Rail, it's Amit, he knows all about this. For SSE, it's Jessie and Amy. For McLaren, it's Ellie. For Airbus, it's Luca. And for Network Rail, it's Stella. So do get these nominations in. This is where I met the wonderful Hamel through Engineering Talent Awards. And for our mentees, this will be you in the future, being nominated and going up for an award. Yes, Frederica. I saw that smile. It could be you in no time at all receiving an award. So thank you for that. But what I did want to say, I hope you found that really useful. We will be keeping a check on how things are going. We are going to be doing like pulse checks to make sure that the engagement and the connectivity between your mentors and mentees is happening, because we really want to make sure, as I've said, that you do get the very best out of this. I mean, you know, we had our first insight meeting for the mentees that were matched with McLaren. So they came today, they've had a tour. I mean, I'm not an engineer, but I mean, it blew my mind. It was just brilliant. And for all of you who've been matched, there are going to be either online insight meetings or in person. So keep your eyes on your inbox, because information will be coming out about when that's going to be happening for you. In our next community meeting, and I want this to go out to everyone, I mean, it's not until December, is that right? Or was it January? January, yeah, is the next one. If there is a pair here or a few pairs of mentor and mentees who would like to share their experience of how they got on so far, we'd love to hear it. So nearer to the time, we'll do a little pool out there and see if we can find anyone that wants to share how they're getting on. We'd love to hear it. So expect some comms from us asking how your relationship's going and if you'd like to share. And in that, it's just like your insights and your perspectives on the relationship. And then there's news. We are launching at Equal Engineers a new way for you to be, well, I say new. Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you for being part of it. It's great to meet you again, virtually. So the big news is that we're launching a platform. Equal Engineers will have a mentoring platform, which will make it a lot easier for you and your mentor, mentee to be in contact. You can arrange meetings. You can swap information, whether that's documents, for instance. You can make your plans easier. You can keep track of your objectives, set your goals. You'll be able to see the goals for each other right there and there. Your objectives when you want to see things happen. This is a brand new platform. It's never been done before. It's the first of its kind. And we at Equal Engineers are so excited to be rolling it out to our cohort 3. You're going to receive a notification about how to get onto this probably next week. So again, keep your eyes open for that. And as soon as you see the notification, join, because it's going to make your lives a whole lot easier, especially if you're not very good, let's say, at organizing yourself. This is going to help. It will help you track your objectives and of course, facilitate that relationship. So, do I have a last slide, Luigi? And that's it. Any questions? Any questions at all before we close the meeting? I'm just checking through. No. So, if I haven't said it enough times and our speakers haven't said it enough times, please get in contact with your mentor. Mentees, it's up to you to make that. Your mentors are busy working, but they will be engaged with you. That's not a problem. They're ready for you, but you've got to make the initial, get in there, make the contact, start working towards those goals and get those conversations going. So Equal Engineers, we're always in the background, here to support, but it's on you now to get going, get cracking and enjoy building this relationship, which could be not just for now, but could take you through to the rest of your careers or your lives, who knows. Okay, well, that's me for now. If there's anything at all that you think of off this call that your mentor can't help with, then you can always drop our team a message. But that's it for now. So thank you very much for your attention and keep your eyes on your emails. More information is coming through soon. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.